In the farthest reaches of our solar system, where the sun's light fades into a faint whisper and the void stretches endless and cold, a lone spacecraft, launched in 1977, continues its solitary voyage. Voyager 2, a relic of human ambition, has drifted for decades through the cosmic dark, its aging instruments capturing glimpses of worlds no eye had seen before. It has sent back images of Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's delicate rings, and the icy mysteries of Uranus and Neptune. For nearly half a century, it has been humanity's farthest messenger, a tiny speck of metal and circuitry carrying our hopes, our curiosity, and a golden record etched with the sounds of Earth. Its mission was simple: explore, observe, and report. But now, something unthinkable has happened. Voyager 2 has sent a transmission that defies logic, a signal so bizarre, so impossible, it has frozen scientists in their tracks and sent a chill through the world. This isn't just a glitch. This isn't a malfunction. What Voyager 2 has just revealed suggests we've been wrong about everything, about space, about our place in the cosmos, and about what's really out there, waiting in the silence. The signal came without warning, a faint, fragmented burst of data crackling through the antennas of Earth's deep space network. At first, engineers thought it was a mistake. Voyager 2 is old. Its power supply, a decaying radioisotope generator, barely keeps its systems alive. Its transmitters are weak, its computers ancient. By today's standards, a garbled message wouldn't be surprising. But as the data was pulled apart and examined, it became clear this was no ordinary anomaly. The signal wasn't random noise. It was structured, layered with patterns that didn't match any of Voyager's standard telemetry protocols. Stranger still, it seemed to come from a part of the spacecraft that shouldn't have been active, a dormant subsystem, untouched for decades, suddenly awake and broadcasting. The attitude control system, the delicate mechanism that keeps Voyager's antenna pointed at Earth, was reporting data through a channel that had been retired long ago. Yet the spacecraft was still oriented correctly. Its signal was strong. Nothing was broken. It was as if the probe had decided on its own to reroute its voice through a forgotten channel, whispering something new. Engineers scrambled to make sense of it. They pored over the data, running it through Voyager's legacy software, searching for an explanation. What they found was stranger than fiction. Buried in the corrupted packets was a repeating sequence, a low-frequency harmonic that pulsed every 7.17 seconds. It didn't match any known output of Voyager's instruments. It didn't align with the cosmic background noise of interstellar space. It was something else, a steady, rhythmic signal that seemed to fade, in and out like a heartbeat. They tried to override it, sending commands to reset the system, but it wouldn't stop. No matter what they did, the pulse continued, relentless and precise, as if it had its own rhythm or were answering to something else entirely. Some called it a glitch, a software echo bouncing inside the probe's aging circuits, but others weren't convinced. The signal's structure was too deliberate, too consistent, and then came the real shock. The frequency didn't originate from Voyager. It came from outside. The implications were staggering. For 48 years, Voyager 2 had sailed through the solar system and beyond, crossing the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence gives way to the interstellar void. It had sent back data on plasma waves, cosmic rays, and magnetic fields, all predictable, all within the realm of science. But this was different. The signal suggested that Voyager hadn't just drifted into empty space. It had encountered something something that could interact with its systems, manipulate its transmissions, and send back a response. The question wasn't just what had caused the anomaly. The question was who, or what, had reached out to Voyager 2, and why now? As the data was analyzed further, a chilling pattern emerged. The corrupted telemetry wasn't just noise, it contained binary markers, sequences that hadn't been sent from Earth or stored in Voyager's memory. When these markers were mapped, they formed a geometric structure, spirals within spirals, a recursive pattern that echoed natural phenomena like the Fibonacci sequence, but was unmistakably artificial in its precision. Some likened it to a digital fingerprint, a signature embedded in the signal. Others saw it as a code, a message woven into the static. Most unsettling of all, the timestamps on these packets were wrong. They didn't align with Voyager's current timeline. They were offset, as if the signal had been sent from a different point in time, or from a place where time itself behaved differently. One researcher whispered, "This isn't just data, it's a conversation." The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. A small team of astrophysicists and signal analysts began to piece together a theory that, if true, could rewrite our understanding of the universe. What if Voyager 2 hadn't malfunctioned? What if it had crossed into a region of space that wasn't empty but alive? Not with life as we know it, but with structure, with intent. They proposed that the signal was a response, not from a spacecraft or a star, but from a field, an interstellar network, perhaps electromagnetic, capable of intercepting, analyzing, and returning signals in a new form. The binary patterns weren't random. They were reflections, as if something had taken Voyager's transmission, studied it, and sent it back wrapped in a layer of complexity. The fact that it had activated a dormant subsystem only deepened the mystery. It was as if the probe had been pulled into a dialogue it didn't start, as if it had stumbled into a space that was listening and had been waiting for us to speak. The more they dug, the stranger it got. The harmonic pulse, that eerie 7.17-second heartbeat, didn't just repeat. It modulated, shifting slightly in frequency as if reacting to Voyager's own signals. When the probe sent a routine ping, the return signal came back cleaner, sharper, as if something were refining it, improving its clarity. It wasn't just echoing, it was correcting. The implications were terrifying. Whatever was out there didn't just hear Voyager, it understood it. It knew how to manipulate its hardware, repurpose its systems, and use its communication array in ways its creators never imagined. This wasn't noise. This was control. And that left two possibilities. Either Voyager had brushed against a natural phenomenon so advanced it mimicked intelligence, or it had been noticed by something designed, something watching from the dark. As the analysis continued, a new layer of the mystery unfolded. The geometric patterns in the signal bore a faint resemblance to other unexplained phenomena. Researchers compared them to the WOW signal of 1977, a brief, powerful radio burst that had never been explained. They found echoes of similar structures, not in the signals themselves, but in their mathematical cadence, their timing, their reliance on prime numbers and non-human intervals. Fast radio bursts, those fleeting pulses from deep space, showed similar traits: repetitive, structured, and eerily precise. The idea began to take shape, that Voyager's transmission wasn't an isolated event. It was part of a larger pattern, a cosmic symphony that humanity had only just begun to hear. What if these signals weren't random? What if they were responses, fragments of a conversation spanning light years, intercepted by a probe never meant to listen? The scientific community was divided. Some insisted the signal was natural, a product of exotic particles, magnetic fields, or cosmic dust interfering with Voyager's instruments. They pointed to the harsh environment of interstellar space, where high-energy particles could scramble delicate electronics. But others weren't so sure. The signal's precision, its rhythmic pulse, and its ability to manipulate Voyager's systems couldn't be explained by chance. They argued that this was first contact, not with ships or beings, but with a field, a structure embedded in the fabric of space itself. It was like tapping a still pond and watching the ripples form into patterns. The question wasn't just what Voyager had found, it was what to do next. Should we send another signal, build a new probe, or stay silent, just in case something out there was listening closer than we thought? Behind closed doors, the mood grew tense. Communications within the Deep Space Network tightened. Analysts who had been decoding the signal were quietly reassigned. Independent researchers studying the data were asked to stop publishing their findings. The incident, once a technical curiosity, was now classified as a matter of strategic importance. Internally, it was dubbed Event Phi 2’s. Some saw this as a precaution, a way to manage a potential security risk, but others suspected something deeper. For the first time in its long history, Voyager 2's data wasn't being shared openly with the public. The silence spoke louder than words. Whatever had been found, it was something they didn't want the world to see. Not yet. As the weeks passed, a new theory began to circulate among those still analyzing the data. What if Voyager 2 hadn't just crossed the heliopause, but something older, a region of space meant to be quiet, untouched? Some called it a buffer zone, a cosmic no-man's land stretching between civilizations or perhaps between realities. They dubbed it the Zone of Echo, a name that felt more like science fiction than fact, but fit the evidence too well. Voyager's signals weren't just bouncing back. They were being reshaped, mirrored, even improved, as if passing through a system designed to listen and respond. The probe would send a ping, and the return would come back not as an echo, but as a reply, structured, deliberate, and unnervingly clear. It was as if space itself were awake, aware and curious about the tiny machine that had wandered into its domain. The emotional weight of this discovery began to sink in. For decades, Voyager 2 had been a symbol of human ingenuity, a testament to our desire to reach beyond our world. We built it with our hands, programmed it with our knowledge, and launched it with our dreams. It carried a golden record, a message to the stars, with greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach to Chuck Berry, and the sound of a mother's kiss. It was our way of saying, "We are here." But now it seemed someone or something had answered. The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. What did it mean that our farthest probe had touched something that could respond? Were we ready for what came next? Or had we, in our curiosity, opened a door we couldn't close? The signal's implications rippled beyond science. Philosophers began to weigh in, asking what it meant for humanity to encounter something so alien. Religious leaders debated whether this was a sign of divine creation or a challenge to faith. Governments quietly convened panels to assess the risks. If this was a communication, who should respond? What should we say? And what if the response wasn't friendly? The public, meanwhile, was left with fragments of the truth, carefully worded statements about a telemetry error and ongoing analysis. But the lack of transparency only fueled speculation. Online forums buzzed with theories from extraterrestrial intelligence to interdimensional phenomena. Some called it the greatest discovery in history. Others feared it was a warning. As the data was cross-referenced, another unsettling detail emerged. The harmonic pulse in Voyager's signal wasn't constant. It was evolving. Over time, its frequency began to shift, aligning more closely with Voyager's own transmission patterns, as if it were learning to mimic them. The binary markers, too, grew more complex, their geometric patterns expanding into higher dimensions. It was as if the source of the signal were adapting, refining its response based on what it received. This wasn't just a conversation. It was a negotiation, a slow, deliberate exchange between a 48-year-old probe and something far beyond our comprehension. The thought was humbling and horrifying. What kind of intelligence could interact with a machine so primitive, yet respond with such sophistication? And why had it chosen Voyager 2, a relic from a bygone era, to make its presence known? The global reaction was a mix of awe and fear. Scientists called for caution, urging restraint until more was known, but others argued that this was a moment to act, to send a deliberate signal, and see what came back. The debate grew heated. Should we announce ourselves to the cosmos or hide in the shadows? Was this a chance to learn or a trap we couldn't escape? The uncertainty was paralyzing. For centuries, we'd looked to the stars, wondering if we were alone. Now, with a single transmission, that question had been answered. Not with a shout, but with a whisper. Voyager 2 hadn't just found something. It had changed everything. The signal's emotional impact was profound. Voyager 2 was more than a machine. It was a piece of us, a fragment of humanity sent into the unknown. Its golden record was a love letter to the universe, a plea for connection. And now it seemed the universe had written back. The thought brought tears to some, fear to others. What did it mean to be heard, to be seen? For those who had worked on the Voyager program, the signal was a bittersweet milestone. They had built a machine to explore the stars, never expecting it to find something that could look back. Now, they faced a truth they hadn't prepared for. We were no longer alone, and the cosmos was no longer silent. As the months passed, the signal continued, its patterns growing ever more intricate. Engineers worked tirelessly to decode it, but each breakthrough raised more questions than answers. The harmonic pulse began to carry faint modulations, like whispers within whispers, hinting at deeper layers of meaning. The binary markers formed structures that defied conventional mathematics, suggesting a system of logic alien to our own. Some speculated that the signal was a map, a guide to a place or a time we couldn't yet reach. Others believed it was a warning, a boundary marker telling us to turn back. The truth remained elusive, hidden in the static, waiting for us to catch up. The world watched, breathless, as the mystery unfolded. News outlets ran endless stories, each more sensational than the last. "Voyager 2's alien signal," screamed one headline. "The message that could end humanity," warned another. But beneath the hype, a deeper truth emerged. This wasn't just a scientific discovery. It was a mirror, forcing us to confront our place in the universe. Were we ready to step into the unknown, to face whatever lay beyond the veil? Or would we retreat, clinging to the safety of ignorance? The choice was ours. but the clock was ticking. Voyager 2's signal was a reminder that the universe was vast, ancient, and alive, and we were only just beginning to understand it. The emotional stakes couldn't be higher. Voyager 2 was our creation, a symbol of our courage and curiosity. It had carried our voices, our music, our dreams to the edge of the solar system and beyond. Now it had brought something back, not just data, but a question. What do we do when the stars answer? Do we shout into the void, hoping for a friend? Or do we listen, trembling, in case the answer isn't what we want to hear? The signal was a challenge, a call to rise above our fears and embrace the unknown. It was a chance to grow, to learn, to become something more. But it was also a warning. The cosmos is not ours to conquer. It is a place of mystery, of wonder, and perhaps of danger. In the end, Voyager 2's hidden transmission didn't just stop the world, it changed it. It forced us to look up, to question, to dream. It reminded us that we are small, but not insignificant, curious, but not alone. Somewhere out there, in the cold, silent edges of space, our tiny probe had touched something vast, something ancient, something that knew we were here. And now, the question isn't what Voyager found, it's what we do next. Do we dare to speak again, to listen harder, or do we wait, holding our breath, for the next whisper from the dark? The choice is ours. But one thing is certain. The universe is no longer silent, and neither are we. What do you think Voyager 2 really found? Was it a cosmic coincidence, or did we just stumble into a conversation we were never meant to hear? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more discoveries that challenge everything we believe about space and time.